Welcome to the Philip Wiley Show. Take a look behind the curtain of professional hacking and hear compelling discussions with guests from diverse backgrounds who share a common curiosity and passion for challenges and their job. And now, here's your host, offensive security professional, educator, mentor, and author, Philip Wiley.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Stay Fearless Online, this series sponsored by SquareX. And today we got Dakshitaa Babu joining. It's been interesting learning about the product, getting to know more about SquareX. It's a very impressive product, and today you're going to be discussing signing up across the web with disposable emails and keep your real inbox and spam attack free. That's a great concept when you think about all the spam that you get normally. And so if you can reduce some of the spam too, that's kind of reducing some of the threats.
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, Philip. Thanks for having me on the show.
Hi.
So I'm Dakshitaa. I just recently entered this space, I would say. So I've been with SquareX for the past 6 months, and I've learned tremendously a lot about this cybersecurity space and the threats that come by. And one thing that I noticed is emails are like a primary mode of communication, and that also puts it at great risk of threats. So a lot of threats, I think more than a quarter of all threats that happen day to day happens through the email. So it is, we have to be extra cautious of how we are using our email addresses. So I think there's been a growing importance of disposable emails, so like burner temporary emails in the cybersecurity space. And I would think the primary reason is because email is like the gateway into our our lives, our personal lives, our professional lives, and at many times we have to use these emails like to sign up for services. Nowadays, even physical stores, they happen to email us the receipt, or you have like an email associated with your accounts just for like some sort of like coins or points or whatever. So we have no choice but to give our emails out as often. And the sad truth is that more than 50% of the emails that come in our inbox are spam, right? And a lot of them do go through the spam filter, but I would say the probability is like it's not super good. Like recently, just about last week, I had the mailer daemon when it says your email has been failed to send. That ended up in my spam. So I had no idea that the email that I sent didn't even reach the recipient. So it's a hit or miss, I would say, sometimes the spam filters. So no matter what, we have to make it a practice to go through all the spam emails to make sure we didn't miss any like important ones, which it does take a hit on our productivity. It's a waste of time. It's something that we should try our best to avoid. And the sad thing is a lot of like legitimate sources, they actually do sell our emails for to spam emails and stuff. And so this pretty fun thing that my colleague shared with me. So I think not a lot of people know, but if you add a plus and add like other stuff to your email address. So for instance, if you had abc@squarex.com and you added abc +123@squarex.com, you would actually be considered a separate email on email services. But at the back end, you are still using one email address. So a fun thing to do is, every time you give your email address to people, you could always, add, like a suffix to it. And then one day when you get a spam email, you can track who was the black sheep who let your email address out. So it's like a pretty fun little thing to do. Yeah.
It's pretty interesting. It's something else to kind of mention too, with the risks of email. One of the things I've noticed, because I've had my Gmail account since probably 2004, when I got my account, is back when you had to get an invite to Gmail.
Right.
And interesting thing is nowadays I get probably as much phishing emails as I do spam. So it's amazing the risk that we run in.
Exactly. So, I mean, phishing is it's getting worse. And these days you can't even tell, especially, I'm sure you know about like the Linus Tech Tips. His manager was phished as well. It was a pretty legitimate offer for collaboration. A lot of people face it, like for HRs receiving resumes, for content manager, like PR managers, people managing influencers who are constantly getting like invites, emails, and you can't really tell after a certain point if this is legitimate or not. And one of two things, right? They either have a malicious file or they have a malicious link, or more advanced. Like recently, I received a PDF invoice for an order that I placed, apparently. So it was from Geek Squad. It said, okay, your monthly subscription has been renewed. So I just received a receipt. So then I was like a little bit suspicious about it. So I went to Google it, and apparently they first send you an invoice. And then when you email them saying, I didn't sign up for the service, then they send you an unsubscribe link. And this link is a malicious link. So you can't really trust even like the unsubscribe links within emails, because you have no idea where it's bringing you to, right? So it's really getting pretty out of hand, I would say.
Yeah, the unsubscribe is pretty interesting, pretty clever. And actually, I work as a penetration tester, and probably back in 2016, 2015 or 2016, I was creating a phishing campaign that this company hired us to come in to do. And they had they were going through phishing campaigns every year and doing security awareness afterwards. So it was getting difficult to try to phish them. But one of the things I did is I sent out, like, as first of the year, everyone's trying to get healthy. So I sent out an email for a phishing campaign for a health club. This is a discount for this health club. But I thought maybe one way to get them to click is to add an unsubscribe. This is really before you're seeing that in spam, but people are getting more
Wow.
creative like that. And then also with Chat GPT, this generative AI, it's making it better. People are able to make an email that looks like their bank. If it's not your first language, people are able to write in other languages that's more convincing, because usually, that's where you kind of miss the phishing campaigns and just bad grammar or misspellings and that type of stuff.
Exactly. So they are perfecting the emails. So I feel even educated people like us are having a difficulty trying to filter out which is spam and which is not. So I guess that's why at SquareX we try to promote, make it a habit to always open emails in a safe environment. Like, in the first podcast, Justin was talking about email privacy mode, enhanced privacy mode. So that always allows, like, ensures that you do not, have you look through the email thoroughly before you even try to respond or click on anything. And within the SquareX ecosystem, any links you click or any files you click or try to download will always open up in a disposable environment. So you make it like an everyday practice to just, by default, view these emails in like a safe and isolated environment. So like you said, like I think the phishing is getting more and more targeted because they're having more data about us, like not just data that they can find about us online. Like, I mean, you're a public figure. I'm sure there's a lot of things about you, like interviews you've given. So it's very easy for them to, have content. But beyond that, like so much trackers within the email. So if I were to say, if I'm the guy who's trying to phish you and I send you like 5 different emails, and the one is on health club, like you said, one is maybe something on a series of books, and I see that you tend to click certain topics more than the other, I get a better idea of how I can, fine tune the way that I'm targeting you. So these trackers are it's getting crazy. Sometimes it's not embedded within the email, it's embedded within the file that's attached in the email or the links that you click. And, they are able to chart the entire journey of how you open the email, how you interacted with the email, and then once you landed on the site, what you did on the site. So if you clicked on certain elements that they try to sort of catch you, or they're trying to hook you in, then they know who you are, they know the kind of person you are, and the kind of person you are, kind of things that you're interested in. So it just makes it so much easier, to make a really targeted, like, a phishing email for you. Yeah. And that's just besides all the ransomware, all the different types of malware that they could embed in the files. So in general, I think emails have become really dangerous. It's almost like the floor is lava. You don't know which you should click on, which you should view. So without some credibility, I wouldn't know. If you had sent me an email, I wouldn't know that this is the real Philip Wiley trying to reach out to me, to schedule a meeting. Otherwise, I would be like, okay, somebody's trying to phish me as well. Yeah.
And what you really got to think about too is the difficulty it is for casual users, maybe someone that works in an office or they don't work in IT or security, and you think about how difficult it could be to navigate that when you are experienced. But what happens to people that don't have experience with it? If you're trying to go through and set the settings in Google Chrome to be more secure, set your Gmail to be more secure, sometimes that could be pretty difficult. And some people just sometimes won't take the effort to do it, but it's really nice that SquareX makes it even more easier to make that a habit. I mean, one of the things I liked the other day, I was using it. I got actually was a direct message I got on Twitter, and someone
Mhm.
sent me a link. It was some kind of stalkerware, and they disguised it to look like a URL for Instagram to my Instagram account. And so I copied it and went into URL scanner and scanned it. And the interesting thing is you can try those other types of methods, but URL scanner told me that it didn't have any malicious data on that URL. But when I opened it using SquareX, I was able to see that it was a site from Russia with a Russian URL, and it's some kind of stalkerware. So they're trying to get you to click on it to get information. There's so many different threats like that too. Like if someone sends you things, especially like Facebook and Instagram, you get a lot of links like that, or malicious people click on it and they end up getting access to your account or getting you to input your information.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the next sort of area that we're trying to step into. So behind the scenes, we're actually trying to work on something that would integrate with your regular social media accounts, just to make it safe for you to click on links and all. So yeah, that's something that's in the pipeline. So maybe one day we'll be talking in a podcast session over that aspect as
Yeah,
well. Yeah.
it's amazing how easy it is to learn too, because I've had other people reach out to me and say, "Hey, would you try out our software?" And it took a little bit of learning, watching some videos, but SquareX is pretty self-explanatory. It's pretty easy to figure out. I was amazed at how easy it is to use.
That's great. That's really good to know, Philip. Yeah, but we just really hope to reach like the uneducated like internet users, as you mentioned, like those who are not in this field, because they are the ones that are most vulnerable. So I guess our long-term vision is definitely to try to reach out to people who are not as cyber threat aware, and try to help them out. So really, really happy to hear this. So maybe then I think it's the right segue for me to show how this disposable emails on SquareX
Sure.
works. So just give me a second to share my screen.
Okay. Yeah, I'm excited to see that feature. I've really enjoyed SquareX so far. I've got to start getting I here in the US and some other countries, there's some major holidays coming up, and there's a lot of holiday shopping go on. So this is a
Exactly.
good time to be learning about SquareX.
Okay, so basically on the SquareX dashboard, there's a section here for disposable emails. So all we need to do is to essentially just copy this email address and use it, whenever we need to sign up for services or, for newsletters and so on. So there's a very easy way for you to just regenerate a new one whenever you need a new one. So it will automatically give you one from the list of domains that we have. Or you can customize this. So you can actually edit and you can type in stuff. So I'm going to do Philip here, and then you get to pick from a list of domains that we have. So we'll keep adding email addresses to these domains. So basically that's it. You have your custom disposable email that you can just copy. You can paste it anywhere. So for this demo, I'm going to try to show you how the notification looks like. So I'm just going to sign up on Quora using this disposable email. And essentially within like a second, you're going to get an inbox notification. So this would have the email for your verification. So moving forward, you would actually be getting notifications from Quora once you have successfully signed up onto the platform. So I'm not going to do that now because I don't want to use Philip's name. So when you go into the inbox on the disposable email, you can actually see a list of all your email addresses, emails
Very
that you
cool.
got. It's very,
That
very
makes it nice.
simple.
And so you can have multiple email addresses at one time.
Okay, so for now you can only have one, but we are
Okay.
trying to, implement the feature where you can have multiple. Yeah. So
Very
the
cool.
best
That's
part
nice.
is, I think, once you let go of this email, which I'm going to do right now, you can't get it back. You can't get any of the associated emails with them back again. So we do no sort of recycling so far. So I think some of the other, like providers, they tend to have like a shared sort of disposable email. So sometimes you can see like the previous person's like remnants and stuff. Nothing of that sort will happen here. And yeah, you see I have a fresh new inbox now.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. Sometimes when you sign up for some sites, you don't know what you're going to get. So that's kind of nice to have that and not have to worry about unsubscribing if you don't want to. So very cool.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's how short the demo had to be, because the feature is so simple and easy to use.
Yeah. So other than affecting productivity, how do these spam emails harm other users? Harm users?
Yeah. So I think because emails tend to carry either links or files, so most of the threats, like malware, phishing sites and all of that, they tend to propagate through the email. So even though it's like spam emails are a great hit for productivity, I think for the security of a person, it's really important to segregate like the things you really want to receive on your primary email, as opposed to everything else that are unknown that you do not mind just receiving it on some temporary email address. So that segregation needs to be pretty clear to each individual, just to reduce their exposure to all these different like threats that could come their way. Yeah.
And in the first podcast episode, your colleague Jesslyn shared on how to reduce email tracking through SquareX smart integrations. How can users reduce getting spam on their emails?
I mean, the most straightforward way would be to use disposable emails, right? So as much as possible, use disposable emails for things that are not, I would say, really, really critical, or if it's not somebody you know or trust. Yeah, that's the most direct way to reduce spam. And I think it's important for people to realize that email address is almost like a digital identity. So by being so open about it, like even on resumes that we post on LinkedIn, most of us have our email addresses, right? And I actually had a case where I posted a comment on somebody else's like Chrome extension, and this guy looked me up on LinkedIn and then decided to drop me an email to follow up on the comment that I left, which I personally felt very exposed. I didn't want to
Yeah.
talk about it. I didn't want to be attacked for the comment that I left. It was a positive comment, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess if you don't want this like chain of events to happen, then we have to exercise some sort of privacy online, and disposable emails are a great way to do that.
And you mentioned this was a positive comment. It wasn't anything bad, but this could be situations where someone gets upset with what you're saying and they respond to you negatively, and sometimes can be kind of scary and stalkery too, you know?
Exactly. I mean, I have my right to leave my comments, right? So
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Sometimes it's good to be able to have the anonymity. So how you mentioned earlier that other platforms or other services provide disposable or temporary emails. So how does SquareX differentiate between them?
Yeah, so I think our unique selling factor is definitely how integrated it is with your browsing. So we don't need you to change your workflow in any which way. So the thing about other providers, normally they are like web applications. So then you will need to have the tab open to go visit your inbox and all of that. And because ours is an extension, so now it's integrated. So now you always have it just on the top left, the top right of your screen. You can go to your inbox anytime. You can change your email address anytime. So we basically save you a lot of clicks in that matter. And again, like I said, a lot of them, because of some cost restriction, they try to recycle some of the email addresses. But for us, it's always like clean, no remnants, and there's no sort of recycling that we've done so far. So I
That's
think,
good. That's good. And you seem to offer, a good amount of different domains to use as well.
yeah, and we hope
For
to
the-
keep adding. Yeah, I was the one who selected these domains, so I spent a lot of time thinking through like really funny domain names to put together. Yeah,
That's funny. SquareX should have a competition for whoever gives the best disposable
exactly.
email domain. That'd be a
Yeah,
good marketing campaign.
absolutely. Yes, we should. Yeah.
Is there anything else that you'd like to discuss before we close out this episode?
Well, nothing much. I guess just want to remind everybody to stay safe online, and SquareX is definitely one way which we empower you to be so. I'm sure there are other people out there, but just as a word of caution, just always think twice before you click on emails, before you click on links or PDFs. And if you're afraid, SquareX is always there to catch you.
Yeah, it's very nice. It takes a lot of the thought out of it, so it's very nice. So thanks for joining. I really enjoyed hearing about this disposable email feature of SquareX. So it's something I'll have to give a try whenever I'm signing up for something. I could download that ebook and not have to
Yes,
get a bunch of spam.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me on show, Philip. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And thank everyone. Thank you, everyone. And we'll see you on the next episode.
Thank you for listening to The Philip Wiley Show. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. In the meantime, to learn more about Philip, go to thehackermaker.com and connect with him on LinkedIn and Twitter @Philip Wiley. Until next time.